all the smiles. So my name is Amber Guzman. I'm a licensed practitioner here at the Centers for Spiritual Living, and it is my honor to introduce our guest speaker today, our very own Denise Kaku. Now, she gave me a bio and asked me to shorten it. Oh, you can shorten it. No way. Listen, sometimes we take for granted the greatness that is among us. We see each and every one of us is so great and has accolades and accolades, and I think this is a wonderful time to read the whole thing because she really is wonderful. You're about to find out how much. A former CPA and IRS agent, Denise Kaku received her Master's of Organizational Development from the University of San Francisco and completed her somatic coaching certification from the Strozzi Institute in 2005. Her additional coaching certification from the Newfield Network added her executive coaching offer. She is a business consultant / coach, trainer, and facilitator who brings more than 30 years experience into the business world through her organization development consulting. Denise has served on the ecclesiastical team at the Centers for Spiritual Living as a licensed practitioner and spiritual coach for the past 19 years. She has organized the bereavement committee, taught junior church, and has offered workshops as well as teaching Science of Mind courses here at the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living. She served as the treasurer for many years and currently facilitates a monthly spiritual living circle. She is a certified soul collage facilitator and offers a soul collage group workshop on the second Sunday of each month. She is married to Richard Lawston and has 2 grown children. She has volunteered with the Alliance on Aging's Tax Counseling for the Elderly program, served as an adult mentor to the Girls Inc. Leadership Program for high school girls for 10 years, and was recognized for her volunteerism by Leadership Monterey. The Professional Women's Network named her as Woman of the Year in 2017, and she served in many board positions with them. She was named Carmel Chamber Ambassador of the Year in 2014, and she is currently the treasurer for LATIP of the Monterey Peninsula, a business networking group. She is also the proud parent of Muffin, a 13-month-old multi-poo, and is relearning consistency in training a puppy. So we usually don't, but please put your hands together for our very own Denise Kaku.
Thanks, sweetie. Give me a hug.
I love you.
You too. When I did my bio and printed it out for Amber, I went, whoa, this is a really long bio. You know, we should shorten it up. The thing about living a longer time, you are able to gain more life experiences, yes? So as I was listening to the bio, I'm going, wow, it was sort of like having my life flash in front of me because some of those accomplishments were achieved in my 20s and 30s and 40s and into my 50s in the dedication to the ecclesiastical team at this center. This time in my life has been the most fruitful, centered, and loving. And this morning, when I got up, I just couldn't wrap my arms around the talk that I'd created. Following the materials that Reverend Robert sent me, I redid the talk this morning at 8 o'clock. And I want you to know that this was a talk that was meant to happen. And that's kind of the way my life has been, is demonstrating through spirit as we deeply listen for what's calling us. So every time I've stepped on this podium, I have confidence that spirit guides me and works through me, giving just the right topic and talk. So I kept the title of the talk, which is Emptiness, the Wonder of Being. And we've started a new month with a new theme around interconnectedness. And the inter means between. We are all connected. And part of the awesomeness of living in mindfulness is noticing that in every step and every breath we take. So we're going to do something a little different for this intro this morning. And I'm reading from A Path with Heart by Jack Kornfield, one of my most favorite books. We're going to do a meditation reflecting on the cycles of your spiritual life. So I'd invite you all to sit comfortably and naturally, letting yourself feel present and at ease. Let go of any plans and feel the natural rhythm of your breathing. Then, when you've become quiet, reflect back over your whole spiritual life. Remember how you first became awakened to the life of the heart and the spirit. Remember the sense you had at that time of the possibilities, of the mystery, of the divine. Bring to your mind the years that followed, the early spiritual teachers, and the sacred places that inspired you. Look over the following years, remembering the systematic practices you have followed, the cycles you have gone through, the situations that have taught you the most, the unexpected lessons, the times of solitude, the times of community, your trials, your benefactors, your guides, your recent practice. Be aware of the problems you encountered as well, their difficulties and their teachings. Enjoy this reflection, seeing it as a story or an adventure, appreciating its cycles and turns with a sense of wonder and gratitude. Then feel yourself resting in this moment today with an openness toward your life ahead. So I'd like for you to bring your attention back into the Zoom room, sanctuary, this space of now. And I'm going to read you an opening piece that I wrote a few years ago when I was laid flat for 3 weeks with a horrible flu at Christmas time. There's always a blessing in everything. Resting and recovering from severe bronchitis and a nasty flu virus, this time afforded me the opportunity to practice extreme self-care and the luxury of catching up on my reading. I came across Mark Nepo's book, The Endless Practice, Becoming Who You Were Born to Be. I turned to the chapter entitled, To Immerse Ourselves. And it reminded me of why the holiday season might be difficult for many folks, because it reminds us of those loved ones who have died, or perhaps strained family relationships. I turned to this quote from Nepo's book: no matter what we dream or plan or think we're doing, we're all longing to make friends with being alive, to feel completely here with nothing in the way. Life keeps happening, and once we've lost someone who can't be replaced, we carry this world and the next with us always. The call to action for each of us is to embrace the sadness and befriend life with greater devotion, to show up, put aside our history, listen, feed each other, love, give, and share with one another. It helps us center into the ordinary and so precious daily livingness of now. Can you name one small gesture you can act on today that will bring you closer to your own sense of being alive? For me, it was the ability to take a deep breath without constriction or coughing. I fully appreciated my healed lungs and sense of returning to my healthy self. Everything around me seemed brighter and lighter, filled with life energy and possibility. Is there something you can do, be, or give to your life that brings more aliveness to your sense of self? Befriending life is an art we must stay devoted to. Though we will probably never master it, it is why we are here. Know that I am here to help you on your life's journey and bring your heart more into the open by serving you as a spiritual coach and a reminder of who you truly are, which is a magnificent spiritual being on this planet, walking in physical form, uniquely who you are, yet connected to all life, for we are all unified in the one power and the one presence of Spirit. So in the title, Emptiness, the Wonder of Being, I looked up the word empty, and the adjective is unoccupied, having nothing or no one in it. The verb empty means to pour out. So what came was the picture of Buddha sitting calmly and quietly with a half smile, resting in a peaceful pose, with an empty mind. Nothing opposing, nothing pushing or attracting. So this practice of emptying comes about in many ways, but purposefully emptying is a practice. So my eye went to a book this morning entitled Pause, Breathe, Smile. So fitting with the music this morning from the children's choir with the song Smile. But I think the call to action is, let's begin an emptying practice on a regular, daily, frequent, consistent basis of pausing, breathing, and smiling. What would that be like if you just reminded yourself frequently as you went about your busy day to just stop and pause and breathe, taking in 10% more air down into your center core, kind of rebalancing and hitting the reset button and emptying any busyness out of your mind. And just notice the surroundings around you, appreciating life in all its forms. The bird song and the beautiful birds on the slideshow this morning, connecting to nature, trees that give us a life-breathing cycle of amazing oxygenated air. And out of it, a grateful heart in Meg's reading on gratitude, to just look around and just be in the presence of life in all its forms. It doesn't have to be long. It could be 6 breaths, 1 minute. I timed it. And I know that that resetting of my sense of being helps me go forth in a renewed way, sort of like when I got my breath back from healing from the flu. I just felt lighter and brighter and more present, mindfully noticing all the things, large, small, and in between, that affirm that I'm unified with life itself. So I want to read from A Path with Heart to expand on this by talking about the experience we had of meditating. We sat in this physical body halfway between heaven and earth, sitting erect and straight. We possess a regal strength and dignity in this act. And at the same time, we must also have a sense of relaxation and openness, a gracious receptivity to life. The body is present, the heart is soft and open, the mind is attentive. To sit in this posture is to be like the Buddha. We can sense the universal human capacity to open and to awaken. It is through our own strength of being, our own integrity, the discovery of our own greatness of heart, that we bring freedom to our lives and bring it to those around us as well. So as we leave here, I would invite you to practice pausing, breathing, taking in 10% more air, and smiling. That shifts a mood, clears the air, opens the mind, releases clutter. We pour out the busyness and access our love muscle, which is the appreciation for life. Simple. So I'd like to add to that something that I have all of my coaching clients do, which is noticing when my breath is in my chest, almost as if I'm running and panting. Chest breathing is stress breathing. And to notice and consciously move my breath down to my center core. It's called yoga breath or belly breathing. But the minute we move our breath into the diaphragm, the body naturally moves its shoulders back and down. And from this place of shoulders back and down, our heart space opens up. There is more available to access in the way of our mindful livingness, that we're more here now than we've ever been. We can release worry. We can release ruminating over the past or fixating on what the future might look like by just dropping our breath. So pause, breathe, smile. And I want to close with a story from Cornfield's book, A Path with Heart. A woman who was a nurse in her 60s had raised children and grandchildren and had lived a very full life. And she came up with this memory. She was 6 years old when a car broke down in front of her house, steam spouting from under the hood. Two elderly people got out and looked at it, and one went off to the corner payphone to call a garage. Obviously, it was before cell phones. They returned to sit in the car and wait for the tow truck for much of the morning. As a curious 6-year-old, she went out to speak to them. And after seeing them wait for a long time in a hot car, she went inside. Without even asking them, she prepared a tray of iced tea and sandwiches and carried the tray out to them on the curb. The things that matter most in our lives are not fantastic or grand. They are the moments when we touch one another, when we are there in the most attentive or caring way. This simple and profound intimacy is the love that we all long for. These moments of touching and being touched can become a foundation for a path with heart. And they take place in this most immediate and direct way. Mother Teresa put it like this: in this life, we cannot do great things. We can only do small things with great love. So a call to action this morning for all of you is, as you begin your week, take this simple, small practice and commit to pausing, breathing, and smiling. It shifts the planet. It shifts not only your attitude, your attention, and your beingness, but it empties you in a way that Spirit can fill you up and you can touch into that loving heart. And that movement from the heart is blessed and returned to you in many ways. And so noticing with gratitude all the ways life demonstrates, affirms, and commits to you is directly proportionate to your courageous heart, to your commitment to a practice that is simple but profound, that connection to our divine soul. So I want to say part of exercising our love muscle is the way we give ourselves away to life with a deep listening to what Spirit is calling us to express. It may be a new idea or a situation or a volunteer opportunity, or perhaps it's a class or a topic of a blog or a podcast on the internet that helps motivate, inspire, or urge you forward to express more of your loving nature, whatever it is. But know that this calling is a universal calling because we are all unified in living life, mindfully now in the present, breathing in more oxygen, taking on the amazing observer that sees the loving presence through every person's eyes. And that God demonstrates in many, many ways through the miracle of invention, innovation, creativity, insight, inspiration. So last night, when I went to bed and looked at the talk, something wasn't sitting right with me. So I just released it to God and said, handle it, work on it. And I went to sleep. Then I got up this morning and piddled around and slowly inched into my morning, and Richard leaned over and said, you know, it's 8 o'clock. Have you finished your talk? And I'm going, I don't like this talk. It's not sitting with me well. So I went into my office, turned the heater on, up the lights, whipped open my computer, and I went, okay, Spirit, what talk wants to be spoken through you this morning? And that's when my eye went to Cornfield's book, A Path with Heart. And I had already marked the 2 pages I read, had already been marked in the book, as if by no accident, that was meant to be part of this talk this morning, and the meditation. I think when we give ourselves permission and time to really notice that this spiritual path we are on, even in the midst of living and activity and doing laundry and cooking and errands, etc., that there is a tapping in to our soul expression, which is always available to us. We just need to pause, breathe, and smile. And allow this emptying to happen in a way that Spirit comes forth with a deeper sense of compassion, joy, and love. So really what it comes down to, love or fear. Do we operate from fear and doubt, or love and compassion? And when we take that fork in the road that calls us to love and be compassionate to ourselves and to others, and to the planet and the environment, and to our four-legged critters, something shifts in us that says yes. You are on your path of being more of who you are called to be in this physical form, which is a magnificent divine expression of God, fully alive, fully whole, fully perfect already, because you were born that way. So let us move into prayer acknowledging the perfection of spirit. That this one unified force called love, life, compassion, freedom, joy, light, power, that presence, that source that is born into each living thing is all there is. We are all connected and interconnected and divinely formed with perfection. And I know this life path called the path with heart inspires us, affirms for us what we were meant to be, to do, and to have on this earth. And in this physical form, we just revel in being fully acceptable in God's eyes, for we are indeed enough and more than enough, always have been, always will be, for that is Spirit's creative energy poured into each one of us. And we know God doesn't make junk. We are magnificent. Our physical bodies rebalance itself miraculously without any effort. All systems work mechanically in harmony. Ideas form and move out into physical demonstrations. Be they large or small, it doesn't matter. Spirit calls us to live well, live fully, live now. And for this, I am so, so very thankful, for it is very simple. Just be the love that you are. In whatever gifts, talents, and unique ways you express it, know that you are united with everyone on this planet, for it is our very nature to be loving, to be compassionate, and to support each other, regardless of opposing opinions or views. We are all part of this family of humanness called the people of this earth. So I just rest in this idea. Allow it to marinate and percolate up in physical form in whatever way it chooses. For I know the law is already attending to the power of my word as I speak it. We know thoughts are powerful. So we affirm this and know the truth of our being is indeed love. And we accept this together by saying, and so it is. And I would invite you to say our weekly affirmation together. I embrace the wonder of life, knowing I am enough. Let's say this one more time. I embrace the wonder of life, knowing I am enough. Amen.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing those words of inspiration with us. And so now has come the time. Turn off the lab. All right. And turn on blue. All right. Now it is the time for us to say together our affirmation of abundance. Push 2. All right. Go back one slide. There we go. I recognize the presence of God within as the source of my abundance. Out of my abundance consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the flow of uninterrupted abundance. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. We've got a great abundance consciousness, and it shows in your tithes and offerings, 10% of which we donate back to our communities. That's doing something right here for us. So please continue to give as you have. Amy is passing a basket here in the sanctuary, and on the screen you'll see other ways and other forms you can give. You can send a check to the office here in Salinas. Excuse me, I live in Salinas, it just rolls off the tongue. Here in Monterey, you can text the word give, that's my favorite, to 831-246-9694, and after you text the word give, it will give you information on how to set it up so that you don't have to do this every time. Now, I just type in a number, 1,000, and then I push enter, and it says, oh, thank you for donating $1,000 to the Center of Spiritual Living. I'm speaking my word into existence. I have yet to do that. 1,000, that big number, but one day. Or you can also give online at our website, montereycsl.org/donate. We appreciate your tithes and offerings so much. And before we let our Facebook family go, we want to share some of the things that happened in our community. The first, we want to acknowledge that last week we did celebrate, you can skip to the next slide, Chinese New Year. A lot of Asian cultures are experiencing New Year on the 29th. This is the year of the snake, and so we just want to acknowledge that there are constantly new beginnings, and each culture has their own, and we can celebrate and embrace them all. So, Gung Hei Fak Choi, Happy New Year to you all. It's also the season for nonviolence. So January 30th all the way to April 4th, we are acknowledging a season of nonviolence. And you can do that in your own way, in your own practice. What does that mean to you? Think about that and observe that during this time. And one more for Facebook before we go. Just want to acknowledge that if you're in the Monterey area, to please come down and join us on Mondays. We celebrate movement and flowing of that energy in a class hosted by Cindy Carver here at the Center for Spiritual Living on 400 West Franklin Street. There's a love donation that is suggested, but don't let that keep you from coming here on Mondays at 10:30 if you are available. We'd love to see you here. So that's it for our Facebook announcements. We thank you for joining us wherever you are and whenever you are watching this broadcast. We love you and we thank you. We'll see you next week when Reverend Robert will be here to share his word.